What's going on YouTube? It's Mike here. Today guys, in this video we're going to be recapping Apple's October 23rd keynote event. So yesterday actually Apple had this big keynote event and they announced a lot of stuff. So today in this video I want to pretty much just give a full recap on everything that was announced. So here we're on Apple's webpage, and now for all Apple keynotes I just look on the website and kind of explain everything to you because I just find that much easier. But the first main thing, of course, is the iPad mini. Now, how the heck is this guy holding it in one hand? It's gotta be pretty mini. So we'll first talk about the iPad. So we'll just go over to the iPad page. And so here it is, iPad mini, the biggest thing on the page, the main thing, the main attraction pretty much of yesterday's event. Now I'll go here and compare iPad models, and as you can see we have three up on the line: iPad mini, iPad 2, and iPad with Retina display. Now, no, this is not the iPad 3. Believe it or not, guys, it's actually the iPad 4. So before I get into design of everything, first I want to talk about the main specs. So the iPad mini is pretty much a 7.9-inch smaller version of the current iPad, which is at $499, and that's the 4th generation, then our 2nd generation, and then our mini. It's got an all-new design to it. Like I said, I'll get into that in just a bit, but I mainly want to go over everything. So the iPad 2 is still available just for a 16GB model for $399, and then the 3G model for just $529. So those haven't changed, still the same prices. Then the iPad mini, which starts at $329 for 16 gig and goes up, and then cellular $459 and goes up. And then the iPad 4, or that's what they're dubbing it as, is now the $499 model. And like I said, the iPad 3 is no longer out. And so here's just the example of everything here. So the iPad mini consists of the A5 chip, the iPad 2 consists of the A5 chip, and the iPad 4 consists of the A6X. And the iPad 4 is the only iPad to consist of this chip. The iPhone 5 has the A6, so this is unheard of, and this is the biggest level. What's next, Apple? A7? In terms of carriers, the iPad mini and the iPad 4 all have AT&T, Sprint, and Verizon, and then the iPad 2 is just on AT&T and Verizon. And then for the connectors, the iPad mini has pretty much this the new Lightning connector that we have on the iPod Nano, the iPod Touch, and the iPhone 5. The iPad 2 still sticks with that 30-pin as usual, and then on the iPad 4, we have now a Lightning connector. So that's pretty much the main difference between the iPad 3 and the 4, the Lightning connector and the faster processor. Otherwise, everything is still the same. And yes, there is Siri on the iPad mini, nothing on the iPad 2, and Siri on the iPad 4. Now, I say iPad 4 because it's the 4th generation, although they are dubbing it as the iPad with Retina display. It's pretty much the same thing. So you guys already know the main design of the 3rd generation and 4th generation iPad. It hasn't really changed much, so I mainly want to go over the iPad mini design. Now this thing is very beautiful, sleek and slim at the same time. It's got pretty much the same design and feel as the iPhone 5. So here's just a look of it in white. As you can see, we get that nice aluminum back. The buttons are the same color. Kind of a new shiny Apple logo, and we'll go ahead and switch off to the black and slate color here. So it's the same color, kind of contrastings with like the iPhone. So right here we're looking at this black iPad mini, and it's pretty much the same as the iPhone 5, and this does not affect the iPad 4 at all. Still the same exact design. So here we can see our new speaker grills. You know, we have our Lightning port, and we have that shiny, glossy Apple logo, along with a very nice kind of slate back to it, and it is very nice. And then the front, of course, is black. So the display is not Retina, unfortunately, guys. So it has the same resolution as the iPad 2, which means you are gonna see still see those pixels. That's not really a downside to me as much. You know, I do wish it had Retina display, but it still is pretty nice. And there's just a look at screen comparisons to typical 7-inch tablets and the iPad mini 7.9-inch display. So, you know, they go over everything here. This is a very nice section of the site. It all comes together beautifully. That's a look at the volume rockers and mute switch. Then we have our camera. Here's a look at the front of it, kind of the white model. There's our Lightning port. And of course, here we're looking at the back of the black and the front of the white. Great shots. They're just talking about the camera here, which is 5 megapixels in 1080p. And then this is just all the environmental friendly stuff. So it's pretty much the same camera on the back here that you get on the iPad 4. So that's really it for the iPad mini. Pre-order starts September 26th, which is this Friday. And I think it's released November 2nd. I think that's when release date is. Personally, I'm honestly considering picking up one of these just to say I have an iPad mini and also do a ton of videos on this stuff, so if you guys would like that, leave some comments below on what you think about it. So next we'll move on to the Mac. Now, Apple has kind of completely redone all of their stuff. Pretty much the whole event had to do with the iPad and the Mac. So the first thing we'll talk about the Mac is what the header says here, and that is the 13-inch MacBook Pro now with Retina displays. So this means that both MacBook Pros, the 13 and 15-inch, obviously the 17-inch was discontinued back in June, but both of them now have Retina displays, and you still can get those basic models if you want to. So as you can see here, so the here the regular MacBook Pros, 13-inch for both, it's still the same pricing. That's the non-Retina display, and the same for 15-inch. And then the Retina display ones are over here, obviously at a higher pricey value. The new 13-inch Retina MacBook Pro starts at $1,699, and if you want to go over in specs, make them higher, you will be paying up to $2,000. Now that compares a little bit different. For an extra $200, you could go all the way up to the 15-inch. And if you want to spend nearly $3,000 on a laptop, which I think you'd be crazy doing, you could also go with the 15-inch with these crazy high specs. So that's pretty much it, basically, for the MacBook Pro. They just did the 13-inch Retina display upgrade. The MacBook Air didn't change. The Mac Mini got some spec bumps, USB 3 now, and, just simple stuff. And it still starts at $599, not many changes. The next main big thing is the iMac. Now, this thing has changed, I'm telling you guys, from the inside out. This new Mac honestly looks beautiful. Just look at how thin that display looks. I mean, not just display, but the whole unibody itself. So this is coming soon. The 21.5-inch starts shipping next month in November, and then the 27-inch will start shipping in December. We did expect these delays just because these parts are going to take quite some time to make. So there's just an idea of how thin it is. There you can see the speaker ports down there, so there is quite a difference. No Retina display on this, unfortunately, guys, like we got on the MacBook Pros. However, this model still does look very nice. So this will ship, obviously, with Mountain Lion. So 21.5-inch starting at $12.99, and then the 27-inch starting at $17.99. So the 21.5 comes in November, and then 27-inch comes in December. So here we'll just go to compare. We'll just hit all Mac desktops. So this does mean, guys, that they will be taking the old Macs off the line. So for now, I'm not sure if you can actually buy desktop Macs. Let's go here and look. So they're actually just not out yet. You cannot buy them anymore, unfortunately. We're going to have to wait a little bit. It does look like they changed the box a little bit down there too. But from Apple.com, they're no longer for sale. For now, like I said, like they're all available November, available December. So you currently cannot buy Macs until they officially actually release them. But they will be out very soon, guys, like I said. And that means that all previous models will be discontinued with the desktop Mac. So if you're looking to get a desktop Mac, this is what you have to get. And then Apple also started with these new kind of dock connectors. They're just working with some. I don't know if these are okay. Yeah, these are on the website. So the the Lightning digital AV adapter, the Lightning to VGA adapter, or stuff like the Lightning to 30-pin adapter. I think that was already out. But there are some new cables that Apple just decided to introduce because, just for new adapters and stuff like they had with the previous USB cables. So those are all going to be available within the next 2 to 3 weeks for shipping. Obviously, it is going to take some time. Like this one's already available in stores, but it is going to take time. And then these, like this $50 one, this $50 one, those are all going to take some time to ship. Since they are brand new, but those are just peripherals if you want to get them. So guys, that's pretty much it. Now my take on this stuff, I'm not aiming to get an expensive MacBook Pro 13-inch. I'm happy with mine. Mine is still up to date. It's not obsolete yet. Mac Mini, I'm not very fond of. In terms of the iPad Mini, I'm thinking very strong about picking one up, just because I'm very interested in the specs of it, and how it looks, and could be the product of the year. Everyone could want and have an iPad Mini, but we'll see. And then in terms of the desktop Mac, I think my family is actually deciding to pick one up. So definitely be expecting videos on the new desktop iMac, which will come later in the month of November. So definitely stay tuned. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave some comments below on your thoughts. Of course, rate, give this video a thumbs up, and click the subscribe button up top. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.